one man, one throne, 1,000 women. How did King Solomon, the wisest man in the Bible, manage not just a kingdom, but a household so large it could fill a palace twice over? This isn't just a story about women. It's a story about wisdom, power, and what happens when one man has more than enough of everything, except restraint. In the golden age of Israel, when silver was as common as stone and peace filled the land, one man stood above them all, King Solomon. Known for his wisdom, wealth, and divine favor, he ruled with unmatched brilliance. But behind the palace walls was a mystery no scroll could fully explain. How did Solomon manage a household of 700 wives and 300 concubines, and still run one of the most prosperous kingdoms in history? Solomon didn't start as a king of indulgence. He started with prayer. When God offered him anything, wealth, power, victory, Solomon asked for one thing: wisdom. And with that wisdom came everything else. His kingdom expanded. Trade flourished. His name was known in lands far and wide. Kings and queens came to hear him speak. He built the majestic temple of the Lord in Jerusalem, but somewhere along the way, Solomon began collecting more than gold. He started collecting women. Some were princesses, marriages arranged for alliances. Some were gifts from foreign rulers. Others were drawn by his wealth, charisma, or simply his name. Each woman brought her own language, her own customs, her own beliefs, and Solomon, lover of beauty, seeker of knowledge, welcomed them all. His palace was more than a home. It became a living tapestry of cultures. A woman from Egypt, another from Moab, one from Tyre, dozens from Sidon. Some worshipped different gods, others demanded shrines. Managing them wasn't just about affection, it was politics. It was strategy. It was a balancing act only the wisest could attempt. So how did Solomon manage 1,000 women and a kingdom? 1. Delegation. Solomon didn't try to do it all. He had officials, counselors, and stewards. His time was managed like gold. Each minute counted. His personal attendants managed household affairs, and each wife likely had her own staff and quarters. 2. Rotation and order. In ancient royal customs, wives and concubines were often organized by rank, household, and sometimes rotation. Solomon, being methodical and wise, likely followed a strict system. 3. Palatial design. His palace wasn't a simple building. It was a vast compound. Some scholars believe it may have had multiple wings, gardens, courtyards, and chambers for each wife or group of women, almost like a small city within Jerusalem. 4. Emotional intelligence. The Bible says Solomon had wisdom like the sand on the seashore. He knew how to speak to people, how to resolve conflict, how to inspire peace. That wisdom likely extended to the women in his life. Managing 1,000 personalities? Only a man gifted with divine discernment could attempt it. 5. Spiritual slippage. But here's the twist. Even the wisest man on earth had his limits. The Bible records that his heart turned away from God as he allowed his wives' gods into Israel. He built altars, he compromised, and slowly his spiritual leadership began to crumble. For all his wisdom, Solomon couldn't outsmart his own heart. What began as diplomatic genius became spiritual distraction. What started as beauty and peace led to division and idolatry. In the end, the kingdom he held together with wisdom began to weaken under the weight of divided loyalties. His household was grand, but spiritually chaotic. And after his death, his son Rehoboam failed to hold the nation together. The kingdom split in two. Solomon's 1,000 women weren't just wives. They were symbols of indulgence, ambition, and the human tendency to go too far. He had everything, and yet he lost his way. Solomon's story is not just about numbers. It's a lesson that wisdom without obedience leads to downfall, that managing people, power, and peace takes more than brilliance. It takes faithfulness. So the next time life feels overwhelming, ask yourself, are you chasing more or managing well what you already have? If this story made you pause, reflect, or simply see Solomon in a new light, don't forget to subscribe to Echoes of Truth. There are hundreds more stories like this waiting to be heard again. Let the truth echo in your life, one story at a time.